Welcome, everyone. You've got G, Barry, and Matt on the call today. And, you know, kind of speaking on that theme of AI, I would say AI has impacted for sure every part of our business, right? But, what's great about, anything that you can do programmatically is that the first thing that impacts is algorithms, it's machine learning, and it's, systems and processes that can be automated, right? And nowhere are we seeing more growth on that front than on digital marketing, right? Because that is all essentially algorithms that are evolving over time. And I would say that Google in particular has made massive investments on the AI front as it relates to their marketing platform. They're just trying so many different things. And our team is constantly experimenting over the last year on what is effective, right? And, we've synthesized all of that learning into a, kind of I wouldn't necessarily say a new product, but an evolutionary product, which is why we call it PPC Plus, right? It's what we have traditionally done in the same places that we have done it, but we are supercharging it with all of the latest technologies, such that you guys benefit from it, right? And I think that with PPC Plus, our aspiration and our belief is that anyone who is doing digital marketing today with Ylopo should be on PPC Plus, right? And we have thousands of clients, obviously, on our digital marketing platform. And today is really the kickoff conversation to show you this product and then talk to you on a one-to-one basis about transitioning your marketing into this model, right? And, we'll talk about, kind of all the different components of this product, but I'll say off the top that, with PPC Plus, we are not increasing your price at all on the Ylopo side with PPC Plus. Our only requirement for this platform is that because it enables all of our AI text and voice AI squared, that you have to have that component enabled in order for us to launch PPC Plus, right? And what you're going to see is that any incremental cost that is incurred, obviously you get all the benefits of AI squared, is offset by the marketing efficiencies that we're able to bring bear with all of the advancements we've seen this year, right? So, PPC Plus again is the latest evolution of our pay-per-click marketing. And it's the combination of Google AI technology improvements that we've implemented. And it's all of the learnings that we've had going back to 2020, really, with the launch of the Google Local Services ad product into today, right? And just to kind of level set you there, I think most of you know what Google Local Services ads are. Those are when someone types in realtor in Los Angeles, there's headshots of agents, featured agents at the very top. And the entire goal of Google Local Services ads was and is to generate inbound phone calls for clients, right? Google made the realization that an inbound phone call is substantially more valuable than a website registration, right? Because these people have the high level urgency of wanting to talk to someone right now. And over the last year, as Google released new products, our focus has been the same, which is how can we use the portfolio of products that Google offers in order to generate inbound phone calls for you, right? And that was a year-long process of doing Google Business Profile advertising, which allows us to go into placements like when someone types in realtor in Los Angeles on a Google map, as an example, appearing in the first couple of spots. And all of these different ways that you can advertise on Google now, we have made it our focus to not just generate website registration leads, which obviously is still bread and butter for our clients, but interspersed within that, the ability to generate you inbound phone calls, right? And what you're going to see with PPC Plus is that it is a blending of registration leads and inbound phone calls, right? And we are trying to, over time, turn as many of the lead registration leads into inbound phone calls. And that number continues going up and up and up. And all of those inbound phone calls, we vet through our own call center process to live transfer to you, right? That's the difference. We want to create a waterfall where you get a portion of your leads as high intent, ready folks who are calling you, and then waterfall up into leads that need to be nurtured over time, right? So you're getting the best of both worlds in terms of a portfolio of leads of ready now and ready later, right? And of course, the ready later component is the leads that we use AI squared to nurture for you to also turn into inbound opportunities because AI text and AI voice are teeing those opportunities up for you, right? I'd say the other big thing is that we spent the year looking at the playbook for our top producing agents who are using this product or getting leads both from traditional channels and from channels like Zillow and Realtor.com and other portals and seeing what their winning playbook is, right? And we've invested heavily in uh, building a system around that and figuring out how to train our clients around that, right? And last thing I'll say about this before I turn it over to Barry and Matt is we are taking those learnings and codifying it, and we're going to have some really exciting releases about not just our platform, but in general, what top teams are doing and taking that playbook and automating it as much as possible, right? And so we're going to be teaching and releasing a lot of that stuff at our summit in a couple of months here. And so I'll just do a short plug and say, if you haven't bought your summit tickets, it's in Charleston again, and we think it's going to be incredibly powerful. So on this product, Barry and Matt, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think just having leads that have more clarity around what they're looking for, driving inbound phone calls, more optimization, so better targeting. It's proven to provide just a better quality lead from Google, and so, my agents are starting the conversation around, really great questions like, when do you want to move? And the leads pretty consistently, not all of them, of course, but pretty consistently, they're having those substantive conversations like, yeah, I want to move by this date or that date. And so, I think that for us, being able to benefit from just better quality advertising inside of the Google ecosystem is proven already to have a massive signal. And for the way that you guys are optimizing and driving down cost, I mean, it's really, it's not hurt financially for me to switch over to this new style of lead gen. So yeah, really excited about it.
Yeah, I think Barry too, not only that the quality is really great, it's also just being able to leverage that website activity, right, to nurture these people. And I don't know about you, but we've also gotten a few phone calls since we've been using it, and those phone calls have turned into appointments pretty much right away, which has been awesome for our team.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I think being able to make those getting those inbound phone calls. I mean, I can think of two listings that we've gotten, which we weren't even running seller ads for that, which is interesting. But to be able to get those two listings off of just the inbound phone call, I think it's because people see a home that they want and they know they need to sell. That's the only thing I can figure out. I don't know, G, you guys aren't optimized for sellers. I think maybe it was just kind of serendipitous.
No. I think that, the reality is that people who have an urgency to sell are more likely to call, right? And,
Hmm.
I think this is a good moment to get into the nuts and bolts of what makes PPC Plus different. When someone searches on Google, you can't force them to be ready to buy right away, right? Like they're going to be at different parts of the funnel, right? What we want to do is to present opportunities for the folks that are most ready to be able to take an action to reach out to you while also capturing the long tail of folks that are ready over time, right? And the main innovation around this is the ability to place ads where the call to action is to make a phone call, right? And so you'll see in these examples below that we are adding a phone number option to every single ad unit, right? It could be a standard ad of someone searching for homes for sale in Los Angeles. It could be an ad that shows up on Google Maps. It could be an ad that shows up in banner ads across the Google universe, right? And there's so many different places within the Google ecosystem now where it captures both people looking in the long tail and immediate, that we're letting consumers self-select into whether or not they're ready to make a phone call, right? And we're making that a primary call to action. And so the folks that are ready to talk to you immediately are going to make a phone call, right? And those folks are more likely, I suspect, to be sellers
Oh
than
yeah. Yeah, if they want to actually pick up the phone and talk to a human, absolutely they're more interested. And that's really been the challenge for all real estate agents that are marketing for deals, is finding someone that wants to have that real talk about when they want to move, what they're looking for. And it's obvious to us that if the consumer picks up the phone to make a phone call to us, it's always a step towards that direction. You still have to be good at your job, right? You still have to build rapport and understand objections, surface motivation, provide clarity and value. Those things haven't changed, but the fact that you're talking to a candidate for that makes the marketing so valuable. And I'll bring it up now and once again later. These are the things that we'll be talking about at Summit. You already brought up in May 18th, but we're going to be going deep on these types of topics, helping people convert more leads to be able to make more money.
And what I find too, Barry, is these inbound calls that you get off of these leads, it actually decreases the timeline, right, versus a traditional PPC lead.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, and I'll say that Google has been circling the wagons and trying to generate phone call leads for a long time, right? Like not even with Google LSA, but like the ability to add a phone number to ads or basic ads came out in like 2010, 2012 range, right? The challenge with phone calls has always been, part of it has been figuring out how to generate them. Like Google Maps has been a great source for that. But another part of it is filtering. Out of 10 calls that you will receive from one of these ads, 7 of them are going to be junk, right? It's going to be bots calling you, spam, whatever's the case, right? And for a average agent who's just going to run these ads themselves, what I always see is they get burnt out, right? Not only are they not available to pick up those phone calls, but when they do, 7 out of 10 times it's spam and they give up, right?
Right.
Which is one of the reasons that we drive all of these calls through our own call center, which you'll see in action, and filter out the best quality for you.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, and you're going to get it. People are asking about the cost. You're going to get into the cost.
Yeah.
But, when you're looking at a cost per lead for this type of product on PPC Plus, when you're able to have the number of conversations my team is having every month off of this lead source, the cost benefit analysis, it's an easy win because, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to be able to get that like showing request, so to speak. You can pay a de minimis amount of money per lead and actually have these conversations. And there's no shortage of people searching for real estate on Google. It's the lead flow for us has remained persistent. We're still hovering in the 400-ish leads a month. And like, we're scaling off of it. I'm adding more agents to handle the volume.
Yeah, same for us as well. And we're definitely noticing an increase in conversations on this lead.
Yeah. So let me get into the nuts and bolts because a lot of people have questions on the cost side. One other piece I'll say to you guys that we are continuing to optimize, which has been really interesting, is it's not just about the ad, right? It's also about what the experience we give to consumers on your website. Once a consumer, even if they don't make a phone call and they come to your website, because we have a really flexible lead registration experience, we're constantly testing into a call to action that gives those consumers a call option as well, right? And so what we're seeing now is of phone calls we're generating, 10% of them are actually coming from your website, right? Once these people click into the experience, we are now giving them an option to call a local phone number associated with our call center that we filter out those leads, right? So it's a combination of optimization on the Google side and optimization on your website, which is not something that anyone else in the industry is doing.
Well, yeah, because agents love the inbound phone call and they hate the inbound phone call. Because to your point, I don't know what the numbers are because I don't see the ones you guys filter, but I wouldn't be surprised if at least half of the calls that come in are not actual candidates to buy and sell. They have weird situations, they're renters, like I don't know what, whatever it is. And the fact that you guys are filtering out the noise so that when my agents have that number ring on their phone, they know this is spoken. Somebody at Ylopo has already talked to this person. They want to talk to my agent and they're motivated to answer those calls.
100%. So what's interesting is that you would think if we were running traditional ads and a portion of those leads coming in are phone calls, so we've tilted the quality, portfolio of the leads we're generating because you're getting phone calls, that the cost per lead would go up, right? But what's interesting is because of all of the technology improvement that's been made on the Google side, the opposite has happened, which is your cost per lead has gone down, right? What we've seen is that with PPC Plus, you are getting a 10% lower cost per lead versus your standard PPC, right? So if you had a budget, I'll make it round numbers. Let's say it was $1,000 and your leads cost $20 per lead, right? Now your leads cost 18. So you're going to actually get more leads for the same budget while also getting inbound phone calls, right? And that has been the holy grail because we want to increase the quality, but we want to decrease the cost as well, right? And we're seeing both because of the advancements that we've been able to implement on our side, right? And so the costs of the leads have gone down and we're generating these phone calls. The calls are vetted by our call center. And then we're applying our AI squared communication technology to the 90% of leads that are still website registration leads to turn them into active conversations for you as well, right? So think of it as when you use the PPC Plus stack, our goal is to deliver you a engaged consumer, right? The best engaged consumer is going to be one who has taken the action of actually calling you directly. And then the second best is of the remaining leads, we are doing the outbound effort of trying to get them on the phone, on their text message, and then teeing up those engaged opportunities to you, right? And it's the combination of those two things that I think are really effective. Now, one thing I'll say is that when we say calls are vetted by our call center, we actually aren't using AI to have those conversations right now. That will eventually happen, I suspect, as technology continues to advance. But there are so many different scenarios of calls that come in from PPC Plus, from inbound phone calls, that we want the experience to be optimal. And so the inbound phone calls are actually still handled by our internal call center, right? The outbound calls that we're making are AI driven because we have so much data on what those conversations are and we can guide those conversations. And so we're able to use automation and AI to have those. But the inbound calls, because of the variety of what they are, we don't have enough data and confidence in it to automate, right? And so when we talk about AI squared, the call component, inbound is human and outbound is AI.
Yeah. Now, why would, for those that are watching this, like you've released a new lead gen product that's better and it's cheaper is what I'm hearing. It's 10% cheaper. And so for those that don't know the Ylopo, brand, or they haven't been around us to trust us, what would you say to the person that's like, if this was really cheaper, they would just charge more, or sorry, if this is really better, they would charge more. I mean, for the person that finds it hard to believe that we're willing to provide a better product that costs less. I mean, that's just surprising, right? you don't see that very often. Normally, everybody's trying to get more money out of us.
Yeah, I hear you. I think our philosophy here is that we want to be on the cutting edge and we want our clients to win, right? Especially in a market like today, where there's just less transactions, right? It's important for us to deliver the cutting edge technology that we're bringing to bear and passing on those savings to our clients, right? And so this is the reason why, I set an ambitious goal for our team to convert all of our marketing clients into PPC Plus, right? Because when you look at the raw numbers, if I can increase quality and decrease costs at the same time, that's a no-brainer. Everyone should do that, right?
Right,
And
right.
especially when we are able to use AI to bring efficiencies on not just new leads, but the entire database as well as we, roll out AI squared to you as part of this package. We just think we are evolutionarily bringing clients from thinking about leads, which are essentially people just filling out a form, their contact info, into engagement, right? And
Right.
this has been a quest that we've been on since the beginning of Ylopo, which is how do we deliver you a lead that is truly engaged, right? And I
Right.
think that with AI, we're finally reaching that objective more and more, right? In
Mhm.
terms of 100 leads, we were at the beginning of this product generating only 5% of those leads as phone calls, right? Then it was 7%. Now we're nearing 10%. If it could be 50, I'd be thrilled, right? But
Right.
Google is Google. People are going to be at different stages, but we're consistently working on this technology to drive more and more engaged leads.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody's asking, like, are we going to move the current customers over to the new marketing? I mean, they have to opt into that, right?
You have to opt in. We'll give you a way to contact us so that we can explain the details at the end, right? Or you can just reach out to us at marketing at Ylopo, support at Ylopo, talk to your, CSM about this or your growth team member. So there's so many different ways, but because not only are we introducing this as a new product, but we want to set your expectations on how to use this product with the best playbook available. We want to have a one-on-one conversation with you before we turn this on, right? So we are not just activating this willy-nilly. It is
Right.
a process we go through to make sure you're fully ready for it.
Makes sense.
Okay. So I'm going to give you two examples of where this technology is making a huge difference, right? And I wanted to choose two examples where we have a smaller media spend and a larger media spend, right? I don't want you to think that you need to have a massive budget in order for this product to work, right? I mean, obviously Barry and Matt, they have big teams to feed, they have big budgets, right? But even if you're only running a couple $100 on marketing, the math still makes sense, right? So for this first client, which is a smaller team, might even be a solo agent, I forgot, their standard PPC campaign this month, like we're benching it, marking it AB, right? Like they're running both standard PPC and PPC plus. On standard PPC, they spent $400 so far. They got 18 leads. Their cost per lead was $22, right? On PPC Plus, they spent $500 so far this month, 33 leads, and three transfers, of which, based on their stage data, one of them is already an active client, right? And so,
Yeah.
even at a smaller media spend, the fact that we can drive more leads to you and that three of those leads are actual phone calls means that you can still traditionally when you run a PPC platform, our expectation we always said is, hey, you're making an investment. You're not going to get any listings or buyers for 3 to 6 months, right? You just got to wait
Right.
for it. And if I think now what we're trying to explain to you is because we're bringing 10%, 7 to 10% of these leads in immediately as phone calls, we're hoping you can just snipe two of those
Yeah.
people and turn them into live clients and see ROI very quickly, right? And then you can allow your pipeline to build where AI squared is going to work those leads so that over time you get exponentially more ROI, right? So it's kind of short term combined with long term. Now, let me play you a conversation. I'm not going to play all of it, but just so you can contextualize the experience of what happens.
Hey, Dwight.
Yes,
Dwight, good afternoon. This is Josh with the Perna Team Real Estate Company. How are you?
I'm all right.
How can I help you today, Dwight?
I'm trying to put my house on the market. I need to sell it.
Okay. Yeah, we would love to give you our best opinion. Where's the address at? What's the address of the property?
113 Kim Street, Pontiac, Michigan, 48342.
So you can see here, this is a live transfer that we're sending through. Our call center has vetted this lead already. We know they're a seller, right? And prior to this lead coming through, we've filtered out all of the spam, right? And so we're delivering a legitimate ready now opportunity to you that you can now work, right? So let me give you now an example of a client who spends a larger budget, right? And I think obviously the more you spend on marketing, the returns are going to be greater because you have a larger pool of folks to work with, right? And so for this client on their standard PPC campaign, they spent $2,400, 148 leads, $16 CPL, right? Bigger budget. And with PPC Plus, they spent about a little more, $3,200. They got 217 leads, $15 CPL. So we've lowered the cost per lead. And 6 of those calls were AI voice transfers, where 5 of them were either met with or appointment set, right? So again, the trend line, we deliver 6 people who are ready to buy right away, who want to meet with you right away, right? But we're giving you the long tail of 217 leads who are going to convert over time, right? So you're getting the best of both worlds. Our goal is that when you run marketing with us, just like, to be frank, when you run with portals, that you have some immediate hits right away that allows you to get ROI neutral to ROI positive with your investment on media sooner than later, right? And then give you the upside of the long-term nurture. Any comments on this, guys?
Yeah, I just think that 5 met with or appointment set is an amazing number, right? Because with traditional PPC, you just don't see that typically.
Well, I mean, look, you had me at more transfers, to be honest with you. $4 savings, cool. But like quality for me, because that's what, 20%, almost like a 10, 15, I can't do the math in my head. Was that 20%? Let's see, 18, 10. No, it's 40%. Or no, 20%. 20% cheaper lead and significantly higher conversation and appointment rate as a result of those conversations. That is unusual, but I've been a part of this company. I run 2 real estate teams. I'm the head realtor in residence at Ylopo, and I've been around for about 9 years now. And we do this, we're always innovating, but I feel like from a marketing standpoint, every year and a half, every 18 months or so, you have a major marketing release, something you've uncovered. And so I've kind of become spoiled with this. So from my perspective, the fact that teams are able to have live transfers. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of what that is, this is a lead that's generated by Ylopo. It hits your CRM. Ylopo's AI voice does outbound dials, has a substantive conversation with the prospect, right? The prospect at the end of that conversation says, yes, I would like to talk to your agent, right? That then is transferred to my sales team. My sales team, we put our follow-up boss number in there, so it calls like a bunch of our agents at once. They answer the call. They're closing those deals. This has changed my workflow as a sales team so substantially because now I have a new carrot. Basically, it used to be work really hard, have a lot of conversations, and then you'll get some prospects. Now, with PPC Plus and AI Voice, I can say, as long as you're meeting specific KPIs, then I will allow the AI live transfers to go to you. So what's happened is it is such a compelling product that it is motivating my salespeople to try harder so they can earn the right to get those transfers. My cost went down 20%, which means when I get cost savings like this from Ylopo, I always just spend the money. Basically, it's a bump in lead volume. I keep my budget the same, and I just increase the amount of leads because that's really where I make my revenue. And so yeah, I'm super excited about this just because it's another iterative innovation to the way that we're providing opportunities to our agents.
Yeah, I think it's really a no-brainer, right, Barry? The fact that we can kind of get more leads for the same cost that we were already spending previously, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so lots of questions. G, I don't know if you want to take them later or.
I know Josh is answering some of them, but if there's any that you want to address, just flag me down.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, I saw one about the minimum budget on this. It's the same as PPC, right? Normal PPC, which is $600, right? I mean, that's
right.
what we see as the bare minimum for us because we're spreading this out over 30 days to optimize your campaigns. We obviously have clients who are spending thousands of dollars on digital marketing, but even if you just spent $600, you're still going to see the improvements that we're bringing to the table here.
Okay, and then Chris was just asking, with the 208 leads that signed up on the website, is that where those 6 AI transfers came from in the example you were showing?
No, yeah. So the AI calls were coming in through both the Google ads, which is the majority of the ads, right? And then some of them are coming from the actual website, right? I'd say it's like 90-10. We're seeing an increased rate of people who are calling in from the website. And so we're continuing to tweak when we bring the call option in. But the majority of those are coming in directly from the advertisement.
Got it.
Awesome.
Yeah, great.
So PPC Plus is packaged in with AI squared, right? And the reason for that is because one, there's an inbound call component, and any call component on our product is tied to our AI squared overall division, so to speak, right? And the second is that even with the leads that are coming in that are not inbound, we want to turn them into essentially inbound like leads, right? And the only way to do that is to actually work those leads. And so we're using AI squared to outbound text, outbound call those leads to drive additional inbound activity for you, essentially, right? And so that is the one requirement for this product. We are not charging anything extra from the PPC aspect of it, but you have to upgrade into our overall AI suite, right? And that's already the majority of the case for our clients today, but we want this to be uniform across any client that is running PPC Plus with us.
Mm-hmm.
So just as a reminder for what you're getting with AI squared, since it's packaged in, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I want to make this webinar tight. But with AI squared, we're focused on new leads and database reactivation. Now, if you just want us to work your new leads or just want us to work your database, that's fine. That's all options on the table for you, right? But our goal is to not just be able to attack the people that we generate, but lead sources like Zillow, like Realtor.com, Homes.com, whatever your sources of leads are, and then take the thousands of leads that you've generated over the last decade or more years and also reactivate those leads as well. And so for the new lead journey, they have immediate follow-up. AI text instantly engages those leads. If there's no positive outcome, the lead enters into a nurture cycle, then triggers re-engagement, and we're following this lead consistently over a year, right? For the leads in your database, which are inactive, right? They're not coming onto your website. They're not doing anything. We still reach out to those people. And we either reach out to them with email and other ways to provoke activity and then use that activity to text and call those leads, or we just basically use our algorithm to rank all of the leads in your database, and we'll choose X number, right, depending on your database size, to text and call. So you're getting folks in your database who are engaging in some way, combined with, even if they're not engaging, as long as it's compliant, we're going to go and text and call those people as well. So
yeah, I mean, hot take. I honestly don't know. I don't know if I would ever run a team again without AI voice and AI text doing the heavy lifting. I mean, because I used to have 9 human ISAs that were prospecting for my sales team. And that was it. Managing them was a full-time job. It really was, and so the amount of money that I was spending to invest in their salaries, I could have spent more and hired someone to manage them, right, and operated at scale. But like it really was a heavy lift. And now the fact that I'm paying this small amount of money to reach all my leads in my organization via AI voice and AI text, it really has changed my entire organization. I'm much more nimble now than I used to be. So I'm able to take on more risk, for example, because my training for my agents is less work hard and then perform well, and it's more perform well. So as an organization, my training now is all about when you get them on the phone because they're being handed to you, here's how you don't screw it up, which almost feels like Zillow, because that's what Zillow does, is like they're providing those like showing appointments and Zillow's watching the lead agent to make sure they don't screw up the appointment. Like, I'm not saying it's the same quality. It's just flirting with the same style and the feeling of the business. Where everybody is bottom of funnel, or are getting there anyway. So it's a really big deal.
Yeah, I think one of the big things too, Barry, is that utilizing this technology to surface the opportunities to the top, it gets the agents a lot more excited too, right, and a lot more motivated because they are talking to those warmer or hotter opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I won't belabor the point. I'll just say that with AI Squared, we're not just working Ylopo leads. You can activate it for any lead source essentially in your portfolio. And so we want to be full surface contacting every lead that you want us to contact within your system, right? And I want to get into some questions here because I'm seeing a lot of questions in chat I want to answer. I'll just say, there'll be a lot of different ways that you can reach out to us about this. Easiest way probably is just to fill out this QR code on the right-hand side. So just take a picture of it and fill out the form, and we'll reach out to you right away to talk about this. But you can also email marketing@ylopo.com, support@ylopo.com, so many different ways, right? So let me get to some questions here. So the first thing is you do not need to run traditional PPC and PPC Plus at the same time, right? In fact, we recommend you shift your budget over. If you want to add budget, fantastic, right? If you want to play around with your marketing portfolio, we always encourage that, especially since you're getting the best both worlds in terms of reduction in costs and, more quality calls. But you can absolutely shift your budget over, and that's what we recommend. The second is that with our AI outbound for the 90% of leads that are still filling out a registration form, we have a pretty aggressive cadence reaching out to those people in the initial, I think it was like 14 days. I think we do 7 phone calls and we do a bunch of texting. So we're doing best practices based on the data that we see of how to get the most contact rate possible. With PPC Plus, we recommend that you do low filtration on our platform. We'll still filter out renters as an example, but we want to give you every other opportunity. And so is there any other questions folks had? I'll say as a PSA warning, like it's crazy to me, but even though we are reducing the number of opportunities that you need to talk to because we are doing the texting and phone calling on our side, our biggest problem for our clients is the agents not picking up the phone, right? Like I think something in the 40 to 50% of leads, we actually transfer over to you guys, no one answers, right? And so part of this is we're trying to reduce the noise for your team so that when a call comes through from Ylopo, and it's going to come through from a Ylopo phone number, so you can save it on your phone, you actually pick up, right? And I think that is one of the reasons why we want to talk to you first, properly set up your CRM in order to receive these phone calls, because we want to make sure you actually pick up the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what lead info does the live inbound call center capture? Name, number, email? That's a question from Kim.
It's verifying that they're a serious buyer or seller and they want to talk about real estate. And we obviously already have their contact info, so we'll capture that and send it over to you guys. Even if a call has been missed by your team, we still push that through and we tell you it's a missed opportunity with all of the details of that call. So it's obviously, your agents can call those leads back, right? But you're going to get a lower contact rate than if you just picked up the first time.
There's
All
another
right.
one there, G, about PPC Plus and LSA. Is there a recommendation for that for clients that are utilizing both? Do you recommend they use
I
both?
think 100%, and I'd say with LSA, those are still gold standard leads, right? Because those are leads that saw your photo and decided to inbound phone call with you, right? The problem with Google LSA has always been that it's really difficult to scale unless you are an agent who's really established in the market with hundreds of reviews. And setting huge budgets on the Google local services ad side, you're just not going to get a lot of phone calls. It might be one, two, three a month, right? With what we're doing with PPC Plus, we are able to smooth that out and give you consistent phone calls. And so I think those products are very complementary, but they are different. And I would max out whenever you can on LSA, expecting that you're going to get very few opportunities, but those opportunities are great, and scale up with consistency to feed your team. Great. Well, I wanted to keep this to under an hour, and we're at 10:50. Mission accomplished. um, Thank you, everyone, for joining. You will get a recording of this, of course, and you'll get communication and follow up from our side as well. Hopefully, we will have a conversation with you sooner than later about this product because our team is on a mission to roll out this exciting product to everyone. And if you have any questions, email us, call us. Let's talk about it. All right. Appreciate everyone's time.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, see you later, everyone.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.